Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Om. Adorations to Lord Krishna, the preceptor of the universe, destroyer of the forces of darkness, and bestower of immortality. In Srimad Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 16, Daivasura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga, the yoga of distinction between demoniac and the divine qualities. It's a very important chapter. As I have explained again and again, that all religions, the central theme in the practice of religion is how to allow the lower self to be overpowered by your higher self. The lower self movement is satanic movement. If lower self dominates you, Satan has dominated. Demon has dominated. Demons are called Daityas. Daityas come from the word Dvaita. A world where you never believe that the entire world is sourced by one absolute. You view that the world has been composed of so many. God's mind and Prakriti's mind. Some devas and all are put together in a conference. He created a hodgepodge of the world. That's called Dvaita Buddhi. And Dvaita Buddhi is Daitya Buddhi. I will not go into too much now. But here we are at the 9th verse, focusing on Asuri Sampat. Devi Sampat I have explained. And now what are those characteristics that you must understand and learn to sublimate them. All Asuri movement is a distorted energy, short-circuited energy, just like electricity gets short-circuited. The room in which it is short-circuited, a demon exists. For killing the demon, you bring the electrical company. You remove the default. And this same energy that was sucking all your life in a negative way now begins to nourish you in a positive way. The negative qualities and positive qualities both must be kept in your view. You may say, why not just focus on the positive, let go the negative. Point is that unless you know the negative, you will not be able to avoid it with precision, in a profound way. So knowing the negative and all its secrecies, that's important. 9th verse, Etam drishtima vashtabhya nashtatmanolpa buddhaya prabhavanti ugra karmana shayaya jagato hita. Having adopted this vision, the vision of duality, the vision of demoniac qualities, these lost souls, those who have developed the demoniac qualities and become enfolded by them, endowed with little intellect. Every word and every expression has its root in the Vedas. The Vedic scripture talks about Alpam and Bhuma. When they say little, they are referring to the entire universe. All that you experience in your three levels, in the level of your senses, practical world, through your sentiments, feelings, and through your understanding, intellect level. These levels are known as lokas. If you stay in one level, you are loco. And the possibilities of your enjoyment or experience in three lokas, that possibility is endless. Think of your computers. Think of all the possibility a computer has, very little sometimes in your hand. And use your googly vision and you see. Thousands of information come to you in one flash. And if all those thousands that come to you in your hand is little, if you don't have inner peace. So two words are used, Alpam and Bhuma. All experiences that do not bring about removal of your ignorance, but continue to be bonded with karma and allow you to move from one embodiment to another endlessly. All those experiences are alpam. So those who have demoniac qualities, their buddhi, intellect is alpam. If lower self dominates you, and just to remind you of the demoniac qualities, known as Asuri Sampat, literally meaning divine, demoniac wealth. Dambha, pride, rather hypocrisy. Dambha is hypocrisy. Dharmadvaj, another word is used for dambha. You carry a flag of dharma. But behind the flag there is all adharma. Dambha, that's one. Darpa, arrogance. Abhiman, pride. Krodh, anger. Parushya, harsh, cutting speech. Agyan, ignorance. If you become simply quiet and do nothing, you are sinking in demoniac hole. Don't think that now you have become harmless because you are loving ignorance. You are not doing anything to enlighten your mind. If you stay like that, then all demoniac qualities will continue to emerge from your ignorance and dominate you. So these Dambha, Darpa, Abhiman, Krodh, Parushya, Agyan, they are the prominent highlights of demoniac qualities. Having been dominated by these qualities, these lost souls, endowed with little intellect, perform violent deeds. To understand violent deeds, to understand Atma Guna, the virtues of your soul. Soul becomes very happy if these virtues develop in you. I'm going to explain them, keeping you in suspense. Those are 8 great virtues. And they are normal. Like from soul level, it is like instinctive. Anger is not a normal expression. Conceit is not normal. No children have that conceited mind. Try to look into it. They're born with simplicity. So, deep down, the natural state of your soul movement is nourished by these great virtues. Daya sarvabhuteshu, having compassion towards all beings. Kshanti, which relates to forgiveness, forbearance, not to hold on to grudge, but dissolve it. Anasuya, not to be constantly involved in jealousy. Shaucham, physical and mental purity. Anayas, your life should move in an effortless manner if you are properly integrated, if you are allowing your body and mind to be well harmonized. Then, for any project, what you should do in your life, how to handle your job, all that comes to you in a spontaneous manner. Spontaneity means you are close to your heart. You move away from spontaneity because you are closing your heart, even against your own self. Think of what happens. You don't have open-hearted relations. I try to understand. You don't have open-hearted relations with your own self. And that's big trouble. Left to yourself, it will become more miserable. So that's what I meant, spontaneity. And that's also the characteristic of Swadharma. What is your duty? If it requires a lot of stress, and while doing your duties, you are constantly thinking, when will I be free from this stress? Handling your job, you are constantly looking at the calendar. When will there be a holiday? When will I go to the Miami beach and enjoy the setting sun? Your life is not anayas. It is full of stress. That's why people get tired. And unfortunately, they want to be retired. Mangalam. Another great quality of the soul is always looking for Mangalam, looking for light, looking for positivity, what's translated as auspiciousness. I give it a little twisted meaning. Mangalam. The experience that allows your mind to dissolve. Look at the people, how they always look for that thrilling experience, their mind just blown away. But that blowing away of the mind is a big illusion. The type of enjoyment that people go after, that doesn't really blow away the mind, but brings out dust into your mind. balloons up your mind. But if you live in a perfectly healthy manner, in harmony with yourself, in harmony with the divine will, then your movement opens up a positive view of things more and more. Your whole movement is Mangalamaya, implying your mind goes on melting. Manonash is the greatest attainment. Manonash means mind that is not swinging with raga and dvesha. If mind doesn't swing, then every day is a constructive opportunity. But if mind is swinging in raga and dvesha, then there is, with raga, you are wasting your time in party and enjoying your fortune. With dvesha, you are constantly planning to hurt others. I'm giving a very crude aspect. But even in a very simple manner, the mind goes on wavering. And in that process, the opportunity to do your purushartha, self-effort, that can really enrich you, that opportunity slips from your hand. So any situation where opportunity slips away is amangal. Then where opportunity is utilized, and you are promoting a mind that is free of the currents of raga dvesha, free from the sway created by raga dvesha, then that is auspicious, mangalam. Imagine the day your mind becomes absolutely free, the day and the moment you find yourself enfolded by God. God realization is not a historical development. He is coming and I have to wait for it. The day and the moment your mind becomes absolutely calm. Like a lake, the moment it becomes calm, the whole sky reflects it. Karpanyam, miserliness. Miserliness, that's ordinary understanding, being miserly with your possessions. You so miserly, you have all the best nourishing food in your refrigerator, but will pick up the worst food to save money. Miserly towards yourself, naturally miserly towards others. Another sample of miserliness, constantly viewing yourself as body and mind, body-mind complex. Think of another way of thinking, in a gross way. Think of that cell phone is me. I can't live without it. This way of thinking is miserly thinking. Karpanya buddhi. If we go on this expanding, there are lots of things. When you turn to yourself and develop the idea of staying in a without attaining spiritual progress, then you are not utilizing your resources. That's miserly. When you love, but you look for whom to love, and you count your loved ones on your fingers, that's miserly. Imagine possessing a heart that brings out sarve bhavantu sukhina instead of who are the near and dear ones. Question is, who is not? even without having profound philosophy. Just think of reincarnations. How many near and dear ones you go on leaving behind? The whole world is filled with near and dear ones. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. May all be happy. Sarve santu niramaya. And think of what type of joy will enter the heart if the prayer became a real, sincere prayer. But also understand, any positive attainment is a progressive attainment. You cannot suddenly develop a universal love in your heart, but you can gradually promote it. And that's what we call akarmanya, being free of miserliness. Aspriha, the last word. Spriha refers to covetousness. Constantly comparing yourself with others, and strangely enough, finding others in a better position. How to strip others of what they have so that they are not better than me. That type of psychology is behind that covetousness. So I've just described to you the Atma Guna, daya, compassion, kindness towards all beings, kshanti, forbearance, anasuya, absence of jealousy, shaucham, purity, anayas, effortless movement, mangalam, which I have described, auspiciousness, promoting an auspicious movement, aspriha, absence of greed. These are natural, latent gunas in every soul as a human being. If you allow them to develop, you become better and better a human being. If you allow them to develop completely, then you become from Jiva to Shiva. Lacking these qualities, a person becomes alpa buddhi, dull-witted, ahita. He lives to do harm to others. Tulsidas says, karahi moha bas droha parava. Due to delusion, deluded mind, they live to exercise violent projects against others. Ugra karamana, they are the doer of terrible deeds. Those who do not enjoy satsanga from the very early days. These asuri sampat gravitate to their mind. And as you go on becoming older and older, you are completely a slave to the asuri sampat. Constantly annoyed, constantly losing your temper. They are born as enemies of righteousness for the destruction of the world. The term destruction of the world is allegorical. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. Whenever there is a waning or decaying of righteousness, an increase of demoniac qualities, the world becomes a world full of terror. That's what we mean by destruction of the world. In the 10th verse, Kamam ashritya dushpuram dambhamana madadmita mohad grihitva asadgrahan pravartante ashuchit brata. Driven by insatiable desire. If a spiritual aspiration is not there, then all your desires are for things that are perishable. And things that are perishable do not quench your thirst. They are like salty water. So the more you go after them, the more thirsty you become. Krishna najirna vayame vajirna. Craving doesn't age. You age. And why you age? Craving youthens. Ridicules you. That's in the absence of satsanga, in the absence of sadhana. If you get into satsanga, sadhana, and integral yoga in your life, then this doesn't apply to you. Otherwise, for majority of people, the desire in their mind, how every mind is fluttering with so many expectations, desires. And those desires, their relatives and near and dear ones and all that, they work hard to fulfill them. But when they are fulfilled, they are not completely fulfilled. Something else comes up. And so it is insatiable, filled with pride. Pride is, figuratively speaking, swollen-headedness. Trinadapi sunichena. The ideal is one should be humbler than a blade of grass. What's that to be proud of? You breathe the air, and so I'm proud. I'm pushing my air in my lungs. What's that to be proud of? The sun shines, and the world becomes illumined. For the sun, what is that to be proud of? A fragrant flower wafts its fragrance. What's there to be proud of? It had to blossom. You have to understand also the proper context. There is a role of removing the sense of humiliation within yourself. So a sattvic pride must develop. When you are doing good things, be proud of yourself. So that is done in a different context. That type of being proud is not computed with the pride I'm speaking about, the demoniac type. That type of being proud is virtue. Not live with a sense of humiliation. Holding evil ideas due to delusion. Elaborate upon it. Evil ideas. People who have demoniac qualities. Three things become a source of their demoniac activities. And what are they? Satta. They want to have power in their hand. If people depend upon you and you wait for money being received by the person, he carries all the greens in his hand. And people who come to get that show how proud he is. Satta. Look, how fortunate am I. Making people humble before myself. This type of joy coming in your heart is not healthy. Never build up superiority, even towards the most ordinary type of servants and workers. घट घट में है साईं रमता. God dwells in every individual, filled with pride, hypocrisy, and arrogance, holding evil ideas due to delusion. So I was talking about satta, pride of possession, pride of your position, right. Sanskriti, the pride of your culture, that you have descended from sage Agastya. How dare you look at me, look down upon. And sampatti, look at my bank balance. Look at my property. These types of things become the very inspiring thing for the masses. And that becomes the basis, source of terrorism in the world. Out of their own families, there arise people who have become terroristic. So 3 things I pointed out. Satta, having right, certain power. Sanskriti, following a certain negative culture. Sampatti, possessions. And these become like drugs to human mind. Chintayama parimeyam cha pralayantamupashrita kamopabhoga parama etavaditi nishchita. Given to innumerable worries which last until death, which is again not, this is all limited, allegorical statements, which don't last until the death, it goes on. Because death is not the end. Your soul goes on moving from birth to birth. But taking it more in a restricted way, each life you face innumerable worries. Even when you start doing sadhana, you begin to worry, when will my worries end? Previously, you didn't know the harmful effects of your worries. But now you know the harmful effects. That's just one sample. Countless worries from morning till night. How to handle them, that becomes a big challenge for all human beings. The answer lies in becoming involved with integral yoga, be a yogi. And working upon your countless worries and trying to reduce them, be patient, don't worry about it. But never accept it as normal. Your life, the very purpose of your life is to become free of worry, free of grief. Kamopabhoga parama. Considering the enjoyment of sense pleasures as the highest goal. Put in other way, other terms, their whole philosophy is eat, drink, and be merry. And with the progress of science, rather with the progress of all things, more technology, Every moment you are informed of pleasurable environments, sources of pleasure. And the world becomes so fascinating. You live with the idea of visiting hundreds of hotels and eating thousands of dishes. I can't imagine it anymore. Obsessed by lust and anger, whenever they use kama, krodha, if they use just one word kama, or they use two words kama, krodha, or use three words kama, krodha, lobha, it relates to 6 impurities, foundational impurities. Kama, perverted lust. Krodha, anger. Lobha, greed. Moha, infatuation. Mada, intoxication, pride that intoxicates you. Matsarya, jealousy. These are the highlights. There are like 6 big branches, and they have many branches, many shades of these impurities. And one need to have a subtle view and understanding and not to fall in their trap. Uddharet atmanatmanam. You are the one to rescue yourself from being drawn into the marshy waters of impurities. Considering the enjoyment of sense pleasures as the highest goal, they feel convinced that this is all. This is all. This is big so much. What else you want? The world gives you so many opportunities. But all this is mere distraction. Turning to your goal, that should be always kept in your view, not distracted by all this. If you are distracted, you are moving into demoniac process. If you are not distracted by them, then the divine in you will sublimate the demoniac qualities. When demoniac win over your divine, the divine never dies. When the divine wins over the demoniac, demoniac gets sublimated. God has rigged a plan for your victory. It is dramatized that gods and demons, they all work to find nectar. But the demons got wine and gods got the nectar. So since then, demons are mortal. Demoniac qualities, they are not real. They are shades of falsehood, unreality. And they are meant to die. Divine qualities can be enfolded by clouds of obstacles, but they are meant to shine. When you allow a little effort to move towards developing divine qualities by being drawn to satsanga, by developing good-heartedness, practicing integral yoga, you become surprised how many great qualities develop in you without your trying to develop. because that's natural. Asuri qualities are not intrinsic. And that's a good news. And with this we conclude. Om Shanti Shanti.